Eventually we're going to get tired of counting the zeros, and we're going to put the zeros in front of the numbers instead of in the back of the numbers, and we're going to say, hey, I'll give you 0.01 BTC for that house. I think a half a Bitcoin or a quarter of a Bitcoin is what a house is worth. Because I can't fathom a house being worth $1 million. It just doesn't make sense in my mind, because dollars fluctuate so much. The better measuring stick for me is just pricing things in Bitcoin.
Today, I'm excited to welcome Jordan back to the show. Jordan is our regular millennial Bitcoiner and strategy investor, keeping us up to date. Welcome back, Jordan.
What's up, Paula? How you doing?
Good.
Good to see you again.
I've been following you on X, and I know you've been keeping a close eye on strategy, and it might be added to the S&P 500. So
MSTR.
MSTR, yes. So why
Yes,
does that
Mister.
matter, and what could that mean for price?
Mister. I like to say it's Mister. Yeah. So, if for some reason you feel like you've missed Bitcoin, I think uh, MSTR is a really good backup because it's just easier. The liquidity is already in stock, so it's a lot easier to buy MicroStrategy. Um, I mean, I've talked to a lot of older guys, like my dad's age, and they just have problem opening up Coinbase apps and, like doing stuff like that. It's just not important to them. They just want exposure. They just want to, double their money, time, like get exposed. They just want the money. That they don't care about all the different fancy things that Bitcoin has. They just want dollars. So if they want dollars, they can buy it with MSTR or IBIT. MSTR seems to be uh, the guy that's just it's got all the Bitcoin. So underneath MSTR is a bunch of Bitcoin products. So underneath MSTR, there's Bitcoin bonds. So there's a couple different ones. Let me pull it up real quick. There is STRF, STRD, and STRK. So we have Strife, Strike, and Stride. And so those are underneath strategies companies. So they're just like stocks. They're just like MSTR. You can buy them. Just search them in your brokerage. STRF, it's the safest. So Strife, it's the safest, meaning like you're going to get your dividend every I think it's every quarter or every year, and it's the safest one. Then you have Strike, which is the next volatile one, and it has just as much well, not really as much upside as MSTR, but it has the volatility there, but it has the risk because it doesn't pay the constant dividend like Strife does. And then you have the highest risk of STRD, Stride, which is it's non-cumulative dividends and it's the lowest seniority risk. So you're not sure what dividend that's going to be. If it depends on Bitcoin. Again, it depends if Bitcoin moved a lot, if it went up a lot, or if it went down a lot. So underneath Bitcoin is now MSTR, which is a billion-dollar company that's just accumulating Bitcoin nonstop. So if you have questions of who's going to buy Bitcoin at $100,000, MSTR is. Sailor will just he just wants all the Bitcoins, and he knows that long term he'll take the bet against Bitcoin against all other companies. I mean, I was talking to the owner of a restaurant. I went for lunch yesterday at in Jack's Beach, and the restaurant was pretty much empty. The owner was there, and he saw me looking at charts, and he's telling me I've got 80% of my net worth is in Microsoft. And so he thinks that's really safe. And, he's asking me, oh, you're a Bitcoiner, I went on my whole spiel or whatever. He thinks it's so risky, but I just don't see. I think the riskiest thing is seeing if Microsoft can come up with more products and more. What else can they squeeze out of us? Microsoft went up 10x in the past 10 years, but you're betting on a lot of humans to wake up and come up with like all new ideas, like new computer, Windows 12, maybe. So uh, it was interesting to hear his take of, he's just waiting on Microsoft to 2x again. That's his bet on retirement. So everyone has a different vehicle. MSTR is a little gem in the sand, I think, if you have patience, because that's what Bitcoin is. It's patience. Um, so that's my spiel on MicroStrategy, which is now strategy.
Hi there. I'd like to ask you for a quick favor. Most of my viewers haven't subscribed yet. If you find value in these videos and would like to help me get the word out about Bitcoin, please like and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate your support. I heard today that most of them are trading at a premium, but that doesn't really matter if Bitcoin is going to do what we think it's going to do in the next year.
Oh, it's trading at a premium because you can actually do something with this stock. You can sell options against it, and you get dividends out of it. So it's not just Bitcoin that kind of sits there. Bitcoin is kind of like, I mean, it's some people say it's not valuable just holding Bitcoin, but would you say that having your firearm in your closet holding it is not valuable? Because just wait until you use the firearm, then it's valuable. Like just same thing with Bitcoin, it's valuable, and then try using it, then it's really valuable. So that's what people don't really understand is just holding it in general. I mean, MSTR is an arsenal of Bitcoin, basically, of digital capital. So it's going to be really interesting to see as the world figures out that there is no depression coming. We had our depression already, is what I figured out. In 2000, from 2000 to 2011, we had a Great Depression. We were just looking at the wrong measuring stick. If you look at it from 2000 to 2011, the stock market was down in gold terms. We had a Great Depression. It was awful. 2009, we printed a bunch of money and printed our way out of it. So we had our Depression. People are still waiting for it. But if you look in the stock market, it's hitting all-time highs. There's no depression. Well, you're looking at the wrong measuring stick. Look at the gold. Look at the gold price. And so the real Great Depression in 1929 to 1952, I think it was, there were no dollars. It was gold. There was a real depression. And there was also no internet. There was no way to facilitate money like there is now. So there was a real depression. When we went through the depression in 2000 and 2011, it was real, but it was priced incorrectly. We were looking at the wrong measuring stick, Paula. And so when you figured that out, there is no depression coming. We are in it if you price it in gold. We are in the Great Depression. The dollars are just the wrong measuring stick.
So the reason that you're saying that partly is because the current administration are not going to allow for the stock market to go down too much, and also because we're going to print a lot of money. So while the dollar values are going down, we're not going to have the stock market going down.
I mean, the stock market is the layer of our economy and our 401ks and our retirement and our medical bills and our credit card bills. So if the stock market goes down, nobody's going to eat and there's going to be no one to do anything at all because the stock market is what's paying the rich people's bills, which then in turn the rich people are paying the poor people's bills via medical bills or whatever it is, stocks or whatever it is. So the stock market can't go down in dollar terms. If it goes down, it's similar to taking getting really drunk or getting very high. If you come off the high, you're gonna go into withdrawal. And so if you go into withdrawal, that's a real Great Depression. But we don't go into withdrawal. We just get more high off dollars. So we're we're a drug addicted country.
So, like you mentioned, stock like Apple and Microsoft are going to continue to go up slowly, but the real gains are in strategy and some of these other products.
Strategy is plugged into the Bitcoin network. Anyone that is plugged into the Bitcoin network will survive. Anyone not plugged into the Bitcoin network will die off slowly, and they don't know it. Currently, if it, there's probably like 400 companies that are zombie companies in the stock market, meaning they're going to make the same money year after next and not produce anything more, but their stock is going to go up maybe 10% every year, and it's not really beating inflation, and it's not really going anywhere. It's just priced incorrectly. So we have a bunch of zombie companies, and if you want to price things correctly, you have to plug into a real money because Bitcoin's a real money. So we've got a bunch of companies that are now pricing their balance sheet with real money. So it's interesting to see as the zombie companies figure out, oh, I'm sailing upwind and I'm poisoned. I'm not even a real growing company at all.
Yeah. That's why so many companies are starting to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. But at the same time, you and I both know that the real magic of Bitcoin is having it in self custody. Yes, you will get the price appreciation with these stocks. Who do you think these products are for?
They're for Americans. They're really for America, people like you and your family that live out of the country, and for non people that weren't so lucky born into this country, that's what self-sovereignty and Bitcoin is really for, because we're just a bunch of American snowflakes in this country. We just want dollars to buy a vacation, and you know, we don't have to worry about running from our home because it's being attacked or because our country's falling. We have a great luxury here. We can go to our job and not really have to worry. The only thing we have to worry about is the dollars. We don't have to worry about our actual life being taken currently. So people, if you're able to just keep up with the inflation, that's the main thing, and is able to do that instead of having to worry about also self-sovereignty, taking in your own hands like most people in another country have to, because they literally don't have a currency in every other country. In America, we're really lucky because we use the dollars like everyone else conforms to us. We're just a bunch of assholes. So we make everyone use our stuff. So that's just how we are.
You say that, Jordan, but many people live paycheck to paycheck. So even though we do have the best country and the best currency, many people live paycheck to paycheck and do need Bitcoin or a decent return to come out ahead.
Yeah. Which is where Bitcoin will help you. I mean, it'll 10x. It beats everything. There's nothing else you can try to day trade, but there's nothing over a 3 year time horizon that will beat Bitcoin. It's impossible.
That's for sure. So, what I was getting at with these products, though, some people have them in retirement accounts. Obviously, like you mentioned, some people prefer to invest in the stock market than invest in Bitcoin self custody. But that's the first touch point for many people, and then they can start learning more about Bitcoin.
I mean, MSTR is going to be added to the S&P 500, and it the S&P 500 needs MSTR. That it's not the other way around. So the S&P 500 will continue to falter and have trouble until it has something that's plugged into real money. So we'll see that pretty soon.
So, what do you think of the Bitcoin cycle this year? Because as we continue, like you mentioned, the stock market's most likely going to continue up, and Bitcoin. Do you think the 4-year cycle is still intact?
To be honest, I don't really care. I don't really worry about the cycles because life is full of cycles. So you just don't really worry about it. I worry about my own cycle in my own life. Um, the Bitcoin cycle will take care of itself. It's just nature, the way there's going to be bad actors and there's going to be good actors. And that's what usually the cycle is. When the price goes up, a lot of people get rich. The bad actors come out, the money falls, the bad actors get poor again, and we can go on peacefully. So I don't really know where we are in any cycle because it's it's so mainstream now, but it's not mainstream at all because it's all over my TV, but nobody cares for some reason. And so that's the interesting part is still nobody really cares. And so I think this is going to be one of those things, Paula, where we just get really wealthy in silence, and everyone just kind of looks at us strange for the next couple of years. And I'm really not sure if it's ever a thing that everyone really does or talks about all the time. I think it might be like real estate where it's like, yep, that person's in real estate. That's how he got wealthy. And they don't, no one really is really like, maybe I should do real estate. I mean, maybe there's some, but I don't know if it's really going to be what we think it is as Bitcoiners. Like this is the answer to everything and just do that. I think I really think we'll just be getting wealthy slowly and everyone will just be um, kind of riding the tide via stocks and MS and different stuff that we've paved the way for, really.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and that could happen for many years. But there could come a point where our government prints so much money that people feel more pain, and that might bring them into Bitcoin.
Yeah, I guess there's a breaking point, right? There's a breaking point in almost every other government. You've experienced that. So it's whenever we get tired of the amount of zeros after the dollar, because right now I think we're about to hit a trillionaire, like our first trillionaire. So eventually we're going to get tired of counting the zeros, and we're going to put the zeros in front of the numbers instead of in the back of the numbers, and we're going to say, hey, I'll give you 0.01 BTC for that house. I think a half a Bitcoin or a quarter of a Bitcoin is what a house is worth, because I can't fathom a house being worth $1 million. It just doesn't make sense in my mind, because dollars fluctuate so much. The better measuring stick for me is just pricing things in Bitcoin.
Yeah, me too. I have this app on my browser, and it tells me all the price of everything in sats. It's so weird to see.
Oh yeah, it's like a 200,000 sats, no zeros in front of it. It's just sats.
Yeah, let me have a look. Opportunity cost. So every single number on my computer, whether I'm in Amazon or I write a number, it will convert it into sats or Bitcoin for me. So
Okay, nice.
I'm doing my best to price in Bitcoin because
It's a
I
lot
agree.
easier.
Yeah, like you said, I think the utility cost of housing is going to come down, and it's not going to be one full Bitcoin. It's going to be less than that.
The utility cost, because right, being able to just own something and be like, this is my house, is not worth $1 million right now, because
Right.
there's bigger fish to fry right now. You got to eat tomorrow, and you got to have kids and do other stuff. So a lot people's priorities are all out of whack with the dollar system. It's everyone's priorities are all different. Some people need to have children. Some people need to have a house. Some people need to do this. Some people want that, but it's all priced in crazy amount of dollars. Some people want to go see a Taylor Swift concert, and it's like 3 grand. So the inflation are in things that people really want. Like if you like you can see it, like Taylor Swift concerts, like eggs, like things that people really need is where the rent, housing, that's the things that actually matter. Like if you just look at butter, it's not that big. Like you just got to price these things correctly. It's terrible what our TV has told us.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. But the reason I asked you about the cycle wasn't so much because of Bitcoin. What is your plan with the strategy products? I know you invest in many of them. Are you planning to hold long term, or would you sell at some point?
Yeah, I think I'm looking to hold it long term. Maybe sell a little bit if I think that's what I'm gonna sell first. If when the time comes to buy a house and the real estate prices correctly and reprices in what I think it's gonna price in, I think the first thing I would sell is MSTR. And why I don't want to sell it is because it's almost like it generates cash for me because I can sell options with it. So I don't really want to lose that little generator that I have, because there isn't really another stock that you can sell options like that. There's no other stock that's as volatile, and that's what you need to sell options.
Yeah, that's a good plan. So are you planning to become more of an investor and less of a worker?
Yeah, I mean, I've made about $50,000 for about 10 years now, and the only reason I've been able to do that is just because of BTC. So um, I'm always trying to learn and find the next investment. Obviously, it doesn't seem like I can beat Bitcoin, but there's always something that seems to be tied to Bit or underneath Bitcoin that comes along in its wake because it's so powerful. So MSCR is the first thing that into its wake that I think is long term and actually sustainable, because we don't have, Sailor's not he doesn't seem like a bad actor. He's simple as they come.
Yeah. Yeah, he really does. And the other products, you can get a yield, so you can get essentially an income. So for with your job, you haven't really kept up with inflation with your wage increase.
Not even a little bit. I, and that and that's the crazy thing, is that I haven't really had to worry about it because the stock market, first of all, does itself. The stock market is rocket fuel, but if you put Bitcoin on your balance sheet with the stock market, it's like jet fuel with rocket fuel. So all I've been doing is going to my job every day and just putting value into that company, but taking the money that they give me and putting it into the real money and just storing it there. And it's just been getting better with time. And the only reason I've been able to do that is just because I have the time to look around and do that. If you have a big paying job and you don't have time to do that, then how are you supposed to sit down and study Bitcoin for a month on end? But it's amazing how all of my life is funded by Bitcoin. It's not really any joke anymore. I mean, it's funded by my job, but my job only keeps me afloat. Bitcoin is what keeps me alive.
So what you're saying is because you have your savings in Bitcoin, you know you have a backdrop or a
Right.
cushion. Yeah.
Right.
And
Cushion is the word, and cushion just means time. It just means I can relax and I don't have to ask my boss every day, like, hey, when are we getting that 5% raise? Because I already got I got the 200% raise from holding Bitcoin and doing the time, which is how money is supposed to work anyways. It's supposed to get more valuable with your time. It's not supposed to do what it's doing now.
exactly. And we're supposed to not only work and we're supposed to go on vacations like you're going to do.
Yeah.
So good for you, but still many of your friends and family don't see it.
Yeah, but again, I think we're just going to be in our own little corner, going on vacations by ourselves, because nobody really cares.
Yeah. Well, I always think that people come when there's enough pain or a reason in their life. Well, as we know, most people come for number go up, but the ones who really stay see the problem or have some pain.
Yeah, just everyone has different life goals, and if your goal is to spend your time on the earth the way you want, um, you should probably choose Bitcoin.
Yeah, I agree. Tell us about your BitX miner. How's that going?
The BitX, I have one that's it's looking in a solo miner, so it hasn't hit a block yet, but it's like 1 in a million chance every day, which is better than lottery. And then I have one that's just getting a couple cents. But my mining operation upstairs is growing. I have more than just the bit axes, so we've got bigger ones. I've gotten getting like 1,000 satoshis a day, so which is kind of nice. To just wake up and know that I don't have to talk to anyone. They're just up there working, and yeah, it's kind of a nice thing.
You're getting paid in sats, passive income each day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of it's the non KYC satoshis too, so the banks don't know. Nobody really knows. It's just like finding gold and in the sand and being like, "Hey, look what I found." Nobody really knows, you know.
What do you think about the recent Knots versus Core
I don't even
discussion?
know what knots is, to be honest with you. I've seen it come up. I don't know what knots is.
Okay, so you're still running the Core
I'm still
node.
running core, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm not sure what knots Bitcoin knots is.
yeah. I'm not going to pretend to understand that, but but yeah, I just heard that
I see it.
Core
I see it
was
all over the timeline.
yeah, Core is adding more JPEGs and things
Okay.
that money doesn't want on the network. So Knots is more pure.
Oh, so knots is more pure. I thought it was the other way around. Okay.
Yeah, it used to be, but now Core is allowing some of the other stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So what's your outlook for 2025? You said no recession, stock market up, and sounds like a pretty good year.
Yeah, I mean, Trump's doing exactly what he said he was going to do, a bull in a china shop. So, good luck to all your stocks that have schedules and things to do and profits to hit and meetings to attend and everything else with all that turmoil because Trump has said he's going to come in here and change a bunch of stuff, and you guys are betting on Microsoft, which has lots of investors to please and a lot of people and data to hit. So I just don't know how the stock market is hitting all-time highs with turmoil, but it's all fake, so it doesn't matter.
And what about Tesla, one of the top AI companies? And Yeah, I know you love Tesla and drive a Tesla. It's my dream to buy a Tesla, but I have to always rationalize whether I can save in Bitcoin or buy a new car.
I, yeah, trust me, I did the same thing, and I just pulled the trigger. And you can lease it for pretty cheap, but AI is those things drive amazing by themselves. So just like your money will drive by itself and is alive, the car is basically alive now. So it's a lot safer, and I mean, it's a great company. The products are just really good.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I saw that the first Tesla car delivered itself in Austin, Texas yesterday, I think, and it is better than most drivers. So I'm very for full service driving. And well, I wanted to ask you, you do invest in the stock market quite a lot, but what is your percentage of self-custody versus stock market?
It's 50-50,
Okay.
and that's not planned. That is just I started my journey with 99 1%, and Bitcoin has just grown to be almost more than 50%. And so, I mean, inside the stock market, I had IBIT and GBTC, but I just didn't want to move that money out and have it be taxed. Like I said, some people just don't really care. Like if you have your pure Bitcoin, have a little bit of stock too. You know, like again, all the moderation, everything in moderation, including moderation. So I would say everything in pure Bitcoin is not even 100% safe. I would, maybe have some in stocks.
Yeah, I really get that because not everyone can handle the self custody. But every time I talk to Jeff Booth, I get more and more interested in getting more out of the stock market because he always reminds me that's on the fiat rails. And even he told me in my last interview that one day Saylor will have to choose between the fiat rails and pure Bitcoin. So that's going to be interesting, but I don't think it's coming
Yeah,
anytime soon.
that's a long time down the road, and I think if we have that talk, that there's a lot more scarier things going on in the world, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So what is your personal Bitcoin plan heading into the next couple of years?
My personal Bitcoin plan, I just want to be able to buy my own house, really. Um, I have a girlfriend with a son, and I want to be able to just buy a house for us eventually. And hopefully that won't mean $1 million house. It'll be like a point 0.1 BTC house. So that's really the goal is because I mean I've been I've had money and I have had no money, and it doesn't really change too much. What changes a lot is in here. So um, just trying to stay level in here is I'd say more valuable than anything. So my Bitcoin goal is to stay level no matter the price.
Stay humble, stack sats. So what you're saying is, Jordan, that what you are willing to trade your Bitcoin for is a house for your family and a lifestyle that's important to you and going to help you enjoy your life more.
That is something I would be willing to part with a little bit of Bitcoin is something that the utility would actually be worth it for me is a house that of my dreams, like something that a house that I really love.
Yeah, I think that's really cool because I know a lot of Bitcoiners, never sell your Bitcoin, but I also think we got to live and I'm very much in, yes, sure, saving your Bitcoin, but also trading where you need to for the lifestyle choice because yeah, that's what life's about.
Yeah, everyone's got different goals and different timing.
Well, thank you, Jordan. I really appreciate it. And one of these days we'll be chatting about you buying a house.
I hope so, Paula. We're at 105,000, so we'll see from here.
We'll see where it goes. All right. Well, have a great vacation and we'll chat soon.
Thank you. Take care, Paula. Bye.
Bye.